Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Expanded Guide. Today, we are on Jim Culver.
We're both wearing green.
We are both wearing green.
We're like the same color.
We should have wore purple.
That would have made more sense.
It would have made more sense, but Jim can take green cards, so, you know.
Yeah, sort of.
So Jim Culver, he is the magician. He is the guy we always meme about because we say he's bad, but yet I am still somehow trapped into building decks for him.
And here we are making a video about him.
So Jim is 4 brain, 3 book, 3 fist, 2 foot. He has the ability to treat the modifier on skull tokens you reveal as 0.
Wow.
And that's it. He also can, of course, anytime we reveal an Elder Sign, you may choose to treat it as a skull token instead, and his Elder Sign effect is +1. Mm-hmm. Now, you might be thinking, why would I want to do that? And that's a great question. Yeah. And it's because sometimes you want to draw skulls. That's kind of like why you would do it.
Yeah, unlike 3 cards.
Yeah. Jim's...
He does really suffer from the fact that they just never really cared about this mechanic ever again.
Yes, yeah.
It's like a red mechanic.
Jim's deck building is Mystic 0 to 5. He's from Dunwich, so he can also have up to 5 level 0 cards from any other class.
Most interesting thing.
As you can see, his weaknesses is that he has, like, kind of just a bad card pool. And, like, he's a Mystic, but as Travis said before we recorded this video, he doesn't really, like, take advantage of the Mystic things. However, Jim does have a spot, and that spot is the fact that you kind of... I'm going to say this as nice as you can, because it's actually what I do like about Jim.
Okay.
You kind of just suck, so you kind of have to, like... your strategies that you kind of just scrap your way through everything, right? Because you have 4 brain, 3 fist, and 3 book, you can kind of flex...
Yeah,
he's
a mystic with like a survivor stat line,
yes,
but without the tools to effectively use it for the most part.
If you actually was a survivor, it probably would be a little bit more interesting, because I think, like, you know, he just doesn't feel like a mystic.
He'd be a lot more interesting. I mean, like, his ability would still be useless.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing too. Like, all his ability does is that
maybe if he was like a survivor and his deck building was like cards that care about revealing tokens.
Yeah. You know what? If there was like, I'm gonna finish this Jim point, and then.
Sorry.
But the whole thing about Jim is that his ability basically just makes the cup stronger, right? Your Mythos bag, your Chaos Token bag is weaker, right? For you only you.
Stronger for you, weaker for the game.
Yes, yeah. So it's like one of those things where you're just like you're gonna pass more tests than you should, and that doesn't really make like an exciting investigator. It's true. Mm-hmm. But what Jim does have is he has a stat line that allows him to kind of explore his cards in ways that you otherwise couldn't. So like it is the Expanded Guide. I do enjoy playing Jim, so like we have to talk about like that good part of Jim. But Jim is not strong, right? Like he's just like he can be efficient, but as efficient, you need to work harder than other people to be efficient. But you can build some fun decks with him, which we're going to get to in all this.
Yeah, a note about Justin's comment, like saying that you can kind of like scum your way through certain tests. It's like, it's not actually... I mean, it's obviously better than not being able to do that, but it's not really useful in most cases because you generally don't take tests you aren't planning to pass.
Yep.
Like on the average negative of the bag. So if you're sitting there and like the skull's a -3 or whatever, and you're testing up 2 or 3, like does it really matter that the skull's going to be a 0? Like, no.
It's one of those things where it does matter more on like higher difficulties where skulls can get like minus, or scenarios where the skulls, like it happens in Scarlet Keys a lot.
Yep.
Skulls can get to like -6 or -8. That's when it does matter. But for every other scenario, why are you taking a test at 0, hoping to draw a skull, right?
It is worth also noting that the ability for the skull reducing it to a 0 only makes the modifier 0 if the skull has other effects. Those still exist.
I remember I had a Jim Nicosi deck that I brought to Labyrinths of Lunacy as a patron game day. Yeah. And the skull on that one is reveal another token.
Nice.
It's like +0. It's like -1, reveal another token. So it's like...
You could have brought literally any other purple investigator.
Yeah, and done better. Jim's signature is his trumpet, which I do think is a powerful card if you can ever see it. It takes up a hand slot, 2 cost. When a skull token is revealed during a skill test, exhaust Jim's trumpet, heal the horror from an investigator at your location or connecting location. That is an incredibly powerful ability.
It is a very good ability, yes.
It's just like passive healing. You don't need to reveal the token.
Yep, doesn't have to be your location, which is a rare thing for this game.
Yeah, and it's just like you also can like heal yourself or someone who's at an adjacent location.
Yeah, I think this is actually like a very well designed. His signatures are very well designed, I think.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Final Rhapsody, another great signature weakness. Reveal 5 chaos tokens in the chaos bag. For each skull or autofail token revealed, take a damage on a horror. This generally, in all my times playing Jim, averages around like 1.5 damage. So like
bad, yeah.
like 1.5 damage in horror. I've had times where it's dealt me 0. I've had times where it's dealt me 3. But it usually deals 1 or 2 damage. So you just kind of have to like be aware of that. But it's not direct, and you can soak through it. And you actually have like your splash cards can help you provide soak that mystics might not have in their class.
Yep.
Strength, skulls are good.
Yeah.
That's in like
it.
The strength that I also do think his strength, once again, is that he has the scrappy playstyle, very fun, but I don't think that is just a general strength in terms of evaluating a character, so that's why it's not there.
Yeah. He does have like the Dunwich deck building, which is like a little bit of a class these days, but it does have some neat applications where you can play certain combinations of cards that maybe other investigators can't. Like one that we talk about a lot is like, or consider a lot, is Dark Horse.
Yep.
You could build like, especially with the 3 book and the 3 fist, you could quite possibly put together a solid Dark Horse deck. His trumpets and items, so you could feasibly play Backpack to help dig out your Mariner's Compass or your Fire Axe, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that is like, it is definitely like his card pool on the Mystic side. He doesn't explore it as well, but
it's not a huge upside, but it's an upside.
There's something to say there.
Yeah.
And the thing I was going to say before we got off track because they're doing parallel investigators. A lot of people are hoping they're for Dunwich investigators. If they are, I think it'd be really cool if they like changed their class but kept like their Dunwich stuff. So then like Jim turns into a survivor with the Dunwich deck building. I think stuff like that could be really interesting to see exploring a character, especially for these Dunwich ones, which at this point now, as Travis said, their Dunwich deck building is kind of outclassed at this point.
Yeah.
All right.
It's fine for most of them because they're just like, most of them do their thing and they're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Like Duke's still good.
Yeah.
Zoe's still good. Rex still good. Jenny is like never been great, but she's still fine.
Yeah, and then like she's in the class that she wants to be in for her main, right?
Yeah.
So she doesn't.
She's
really
just like very
them.
limited in what she can do.
Yeah. It's just our poor old boy Jim.
Yeah.
All right, Travis, let's dive into the core set cards.
Purple cards. Holy Rosary. Oh yeah, sorry, we got about 1 million stamps on this page, all of them except for Drawn to the Flame. So those are discussed in either a staple video or the spell video or maybe some other thing that Justin will link down in the description for you for a more comprehensive overview of those cards. But Holy Rosary, Mystic staple, good card. Gives you +1 brain, puts you up 5, makes you on par with other purple investigators. Probably something that you have to play if you're... Yes, you play St. Hubert's Key, he's got the 3 book. But
yep, St. Hubert's Key is really
strong
good.
Consideration if you're going to play spells. Shriveling. This one's a spell. It's your bread and butter fighting spell. Yeah, not much to say. I guess like these Shriveling, Miss Aurelia, and
Rite of
Seeking do have like a slight edge for Jim over the 3 from the Jacqueline Fine Star deck because it like lessens the impact of drawing a skull, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Arcane Initiate, purple staple, helps you find your spells.
Very good.
Yep, class struggles for card draw, and this is a good source of it. Drawn to the Flame, this lets you get some clues without like trying to use your stats, which is nice.
It is.
For Jim.
Like the Jim decks that I would say was one of the best is one that utilized like look what I found in Drawn to the Flame to just basically just like burst get clues, and in 2-player he did his job very well, and Dexter was actually the one who failed in that one.
Really?
It's once again but very scrappy still.
Yeah. More protection, just this good purple card. Flashlight's a solid card to look at for a lot of investigators. You got 3 book. You can just get clues off of just 2 shroud locations for free.
Yep.
It's nice. Emergency cash, you need money, something purple struggles for, especially with all your expensive assets. This is a way to get it. We got Guts, Unexpected Courage. Honestly, like Overpower and Perception and maybe even Manual Dexterity could all be here too. You just make your stats better and replace them.
Yeah.
Oh, you got upgrade cards. Nice. Grotesque Statue is a great card for Jim. Honestly, better for him than for some other purple investigators. Doesn't come up too often. But,
Definitely.
This lets you, it has 4 uses. When it has no charges, you discard it. And when you would reveal a Chaos token, you can spend a charge to reveal 2 tokens instead of 1. You choose one of those to resolve and ignore the other.
Like a skull token, you choose the skull.
It's going to be a common theme with a lot of cards in this guide are cards that make you more likely to draw the skull.
Yeah, or benefit from drawing a skull.
Yep. We have Elusive. It's just a really strong green card. It's a kind of get out of jail free card. It's worth a lot of actions. Same thing with Lucky. You just get to pass tests you wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah, and that works really nice with Jim's just like stat line too. You can take tests that you otherwise like, are riskier because of the skulls, and then also the Luckies can give you some security to just kind of like be a little bit dumb about it. Is like my nice way of putting it. On to Dunwich, we got Rite of Seeking. It's a spell. It helps you get clues. So notably, as Travis said earlier,
so you're really not doing a good job hyping up Jim. Both times you said that the best way I'm gonna try to make this as nice as possible. And you said it sucks and it's a dumb thing to do.
Well, I mean, like it is, but like I've done it and I'll keep doing it because I actually actively enjoy it because Jim lets me play like an idiot, right? Like.
I know. You're like, this is the best way I can say it is that it's bad.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, but I love it, and I feel like if you love Jim, if you haven't come to terms with that yet, you need to come to terms with it. Because there was a time where I was like, Jim's fine, but I'm like, nah, Jim's bad, but I love playing him. But Rite of Seeking, as Travis said, the skulls only change the modifier. I wish to God you could also just treat it as a 0 token instead of a skull. I think that would be another way to greatly improve Jim, because then you could also just swing with a baseball bat like crazy. Yeah. So if you reveal the skull with Rite of Seeking, the modifier becomes a 0, but it's still a skull, so you will lose all your remaining actions and immediately end your turn. Mm-hmm. Ritual Candles, you can turn all of your all the symbol tokens for the auto fail into a +1, give them a +1 to their thing. Mm-hmm. That means your skulls are now +1s.
Yeah, this one's really nice for Gem, especially if you're playing the token manipulation deck.
Yeah. Delve Too Deep is a staple. It just gets you more victory. Hypnotic Gaze, you can cancel. It dodges an enemy attacks, and then if you reveal one of the symbol tokens, you deal the attacking enemy's damage to itself. This works really well with Jim if you're building around like ways to reveal multiple tokens, or if you have other tricks to get more skulls. Defiance, before revealing chaos tokens for this test, choose one of the following symbols. You basically ignore the effects of the chosen symbol during this test. Probably don't choose a skull for this one. But what this one does do is it allows you to essentially neuter 2 of the symbol tokens that are in the cup, because your skulls are basically always easy. Mm-hmm. Alyssa Graham, I really like Alyssa and Jim. You get +1 book, puts you to 4 book, and you can start working with that as well. It also lets you control the encounter deck or your own deck and kind of just like modify it from there. One of the first decks I actually ever built was a Blood Pact Jim deck.
Yep.
It sucked, but I had a great time.
He probably plays it like a lot better now with the new Scarlet Keys cards.
Yeah.
That aren't going to be in this video. But
No. They will be. We'll be revisiting Jim
sometime.
This time, 2024.
We're almost done with these.
We only have 1 left. Moonlight Ritual, remove all Doom from a card you control. So if you're going to play with the Doom archetype, you want to be looking at this. Upgraded Shriveling, just more brain, which is good because Jim only has 4. More damage, same damage, just more brain.
Yeah.
And then Blood Pact, great card if you're going to be playing with the Doom stuff and you have like Moonlight Ritual, or you just wait for before the agenda advances to use it.
The Fist is actually useful for him too on the
Definitely.
Blood Pact. You can play things like the Purple Enchanted Blade. He's one of the better users of that card, and it's a very good card.
Yeah, definitely. The Rite is not that weirded me out. The Rite of Seeking 4, just more book, more clues. Shriveling 5, more brain, more damage.
Wow, more horror.
More horror. Yeah, that is spooky. It'll kill you. It'll kill
you real fast if you hit the wrong tokens.
Relic Hunter and Charisma are 2 staples. Additional accessory slot or ally slot as needed. Notably, Relic Hunter is really good because you're probably going to want to play a Holy Rosary. And you're also going to be wanting to play Jewel of Aureolus. Jewel of Aureolus, which you see in the bottom left there, is a very nice card in Jim Culver because you're looking to grab skulls. So why don't you also turn those skulls into gain 2 resources or draw a card while you're doing it. It's very nice in Jim, and I highly recommend playing it. Ward of Protection is a staple. Protect yourself and others. There's Ward Protection 2, by the way. Song of the Dead! Jim Sculver, baby. Suspend a Charge. This is the one and only video this will ever be in because it's the only deck that you'd probably try it in. As an action, spend a charge fight. This attack uses brain instead of fist. You get +1 brain for this attack. If a skull token is revealed during this attack, deals +2 damage. Wow.
So Justin,
Yeah. We have a.
have you ever played this card? And
I
been
have.
Happy?
I'm happy in.
Been happy with playing. With
No,
your
not with
decision to
playing
play
the
this
card. With the results that came from the card and all the videos that have come from it, yes.
Okay.
For the card itself, no. You're gonna need to like, even if you build around it, you're gonna whiff a lot more than you think. But once again, if you're playing Jim, it's gonna be bad. So you might as well just like do it if you're gonna do it. You're gonna want to build
go
around
all
it
in.
though. Yeah, you have
Face
to.
first.
I'll never forget when I I used the seal of the seventh or the elder sign, the one that turns us to an an elder
Yeah,
sign
and
to
you're
grab
like,
a
it's
skull to do the song of the dead. To kill a mindless dancer, dealt 5 damage.
That's good, but
But
like,
it takes a lot of work. And then
Yeah.
you look at it and you're like, what did I
this
do
was
this
7
for?
experience. I could have like spectral razored this guy.
Yeah, and it's just probably done even better. Fire Axe and Dark Horse, these are the cards that Travis was alluding to earlier.
Yeah.
Jim does it very well, especially when you get the Mariner's Compass. And like, it just, you know, you're going to be playing cards, you're going to be using your Fire Axe. You have 3. So like 1 Fire Axe uses gets you to 5, which is very
like a real number.
It's a very real number. Yeah. And then we got Shortcut, another off-color card. Just move for free. It should have a staple button on it, but it doesn't. But, you know, there's not much you can really say about it.
No. Carcosa. Yeah, Storm Spirits. This one also cares about hitting tokens in a negative way, which sort of plays into that token manipulation deck where you can use it to avoid them when it's convenient and pick them when it isn't. And this deals 2 damage to each enemy at your location. Mm-hmm. It's the way to do damage. Solid.
Second. I swear man, I double checked. I missed that Ward of Protection. That's supposed to be a Ward of Protection 5 in Dunwich. Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a good card for him.
It is, yeah, it is. I mean, it stops an enemy, which is like better than Song of the Dead will do.
Yeah. Torrent of Power, it lets you
spend charges from your Song of the Dead to do something.
Yeah, no, things like two resources, and we're gonna pretend it doesn't cost any experience. Yeah. But 2 resources, 5 charges is not bad for your Torrent of Powers. Mm-hmm. They're great boosting your brain, and especially for other people, and they also like for the low cost of 3 charges, you can put together a Promise of Power.
Yep. Yeah.
Just like not good, but it's worth noting its flexibility.
Yeah, and I mean, Mystics do have a lot of cards that like take advantage of charges, and like you could in this deck play Forbidden Knowledge and Pete Sylvester. They're not here as listed cards, but you could in Jim Culver. You also could do it even without Pete Sylvester, assuming you have your little trumpet in play too, because then you just heal that.
Like I would always play Promise Power over Torrent of Power.
Oh yeah.
But if I wanted more than 2 Promise Powers, which like.
Sometimes
you do. Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If I was considering playing Unexpected Courage, I would definitely consider this.
Yeah.
So, Engage the Soul is great action and resource economy, and 2 brains when you don't need that. Just good. David Renfield is Brain, the only Mystic ally at level 0, and might actually be the only Mystic ally that gives you plus Brain. Mm-hmm. And also gives you
you can't
pile of resources.
She's the one that gives you Brain and Book and can lodge weaknesses. She's the only other one.
It's wild. And then remind me, I have a good story about him after this, but I can't talk about it because it's got campaign spoilers.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Anyway, St. Hubert's Key, good card. Gives you +1 Brain, +1 Book. It's an alternative to the Holy Rosary because it boosts your book up to 4, so you can use that to investigate sometimes.
Very nice.
As well. It's got some like other stuff on it, but it doesn't really do anything. Mm-hmm. Spirit of Tame is honestly a great hand slot item for Jim, I think. Mm-hmm. It gives you +2 skill test when you're doing a spell test, which is sorely needed. And you can also fight at +2 punch for a single damage, which puts you up to 5, which is a great number. It's a great way to like plink off rats without having to spend charges on your spells or acolytes.
Acolytes, because you have your zeros in there from the skulls, so you're basically at like a minus like 1.4 probably. That's just a random number I pulled out of my ass, but yeah.
Or like gain that 3rd damage on an attack after you use your spell.
Yep.
It's a good option, especially for only 1 experience. We have a level 2 Ward Protection, which is like arguably better than the level 5, because it can stop non-weakness treachery that someone else draws, not just that you draw. Which one you want is definitely situational, but this one usually gets the edge, especially since it costs you like 6 less experience to upgrade the 2 of them.
Yeah, like if you're playing like 3 or 4 players, like Ward of Protection 2 is usually worth the juice.
Yep. Grounded is composure, so it's fast. You limit one play. Non-direct horror must be assigned to grounded before it can be assigned to your investigator card. And as a lightning bolt during a skill test on a spell card, you can spend a resource to get +1 skill value for this test. This is like fine. It's not like super good or anything like that, but it is a way to boost your brain again.
Mm-hmm. And there's also an upgraded version of it that we'll be getting to. So if you like it down the rabbit hole in the thick of it, you could do this too.
Down the rabbit hole doesn't really help you. Oh yeah, I guess if you take in the thick of it,
yeah.
it earlier.
Yeah.
In deck construction.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have upgraded Arcane Initiate. This one doesn't cost any resources, and when it comes to play, you have the option of placing a Doom or 2 Horror on it. And
it's just great.
Yeah, it's just better.
It's not a needed upgrade, but like if you're down the rabbit hole deck and you're playing the level 0, there's like you'll probably get to it eventually.
Or you just get to near the end of a campaign. You're like, I don't know what to spend my experience on.
Let's put this one.
Yeah, this one's pretty good. We got Time Warp. It's a very fun card. Don't think too hard about it when you play it though. Just do what it says. You play immediately after you investigate your location and finishes resolving an action during the turn. You undo that action, so you just kind of put everything back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, don't think too hard about it.
Don't think about what happens if someone delves too deep and dies, and then I play Time Warp.
Yeah.
Don't think about that.
Maybe just don't play your Time Warp. just let it happen.
Like, dang, sucks that Bryn died, but that's life, right?
Yeah. Rather do that than spend half an hour pouring over the rules.
Yeah.
We have Seal of the Elder Sign, which is a strong mystic card.
Buys a skull for 5 experience.
Yeah.
However, what's also important is that you can use it on other people too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And their Elder Signs are probably better than yours.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, if not like all the time.
Yeah, like at least, even if their Elder Sign does nothing, it's probably going to give them, in that situation, it's probably give them plus more than your 0.
Yeah, the best way to look at this card is 5 experience to pass a test that you want to pass. That's like what you should look at this card for. Jim uses Key of Geese very, very well, but who doesn't, right?
Yeah. You could have pretty good stats if you use the Key of Geese on Jim.
Jim does scale very well. If there's 3 damage on it, he turns into like what, a 7, 6, 6, 5?
Those are like big
Those
numbers.
are big numbers, yeah.
You can tell us how desperate we are with this video as we're actually talking about Key of Geese.
Yeah.
Let me handle this as just like a solid off-color card for Jim. You can take something that would hurt someone else, and you already have good stats.
Yeah.
You'll have 6 brain for the test, or 5 book, or 5 punch if that ever. Like 2 cards have it. And 4 foot is very reasonable as well.
It's very comfortable. All right, on to the Forgotten Age. We got Miss Aurelia. We have the level 0 in the top left, the level 4 in the bottom right. These are evade spells. It took them till Forgotten Age to start doing evade spells for these. It allows you to move as well after you evade, which is really nice because it solves a problem that these evade spells commonly put you in. We talk about them more in the spell video. The Chthonian Stone. Okay, now we're getting to like the other interesting Jim build coming up here, which is like sealing tokens away and just like keeping the skulls in. This allows you to do that. You're going to seal either like cultist, tablet, or squid. Do not seal the skull.
Yeah, pretend that's like not there.
Yes, yeah. Dark Prophecy is another good Jim card. Reveal 5. When you would reveal chaos tokens, reveal 5 instead of 1. Choose one of those tokens. 1 token's with a skull, cultist, tablet, squid, or autofail if it's revealed, and resolve it. So choose the skull if it's revealed. And this is a good way to fish for skulls if that is what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Level 0 backpack, a lot of good items to find. The trumpet, the flashlight, Holy Rosary, Jewel of Aureolus, the St. Hubert's Key, all of those are great items. They also find supplies, which is like your emergency caches. Arcane Research, upgrade your spells more. It's a staple. Play it.
It's good.
Enraptured, good with Jim because he has 4 book with this committed.
Yeah, there aren't a ton of mystics who can like reasonably pass this book test. Mm-hmm. It's like Jim, Luke, Norman, Marie.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. And Grandma, but we always forget about Grandma. She's not official yet.
No, she's not.
No.
Scared of the day she is.
Yeah, I think Enraptured is a great card. You should try it out, especially if you want to put more charges on things like, your spells. Olive McBride, she when you reveal chaos tokens, you reveal 3 and choose 2 to resolve. This is a way to fish for skulls. Olive McBride, Jim Culver, they work well together.
Yep.
Premonition, you basically just like reveal a chaos token for the next test in advance. That's what it does. And then the upgraded Miss, which I already got.
Premonition has more uses than that, than just like playing it and then like waiting for the next one. Because you can play it during a lightning bolt player window, and there's player windows like before and after you commit cards during a skill test. So if someone draws a Mythos card, you can actually play this and then see if anyone needs to commit tests.
That's
right, to like guarantee pass it.
Yeah. It's basically like an advanced lucky, right?
Yeah, or like a
the butterfly effect. Yeah.
Yeah, but more flexible, kind of.
Yeah, and also level 0.
Yeah, no, we were like really high on this card, and then we stopped playing it, and then I realized again that new appreciation for play during a lightning bolt window, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I think it's because we only played it for like, who wants to draw this token? Yeah, but that is like a good way. Like as the butterfly effect, it's a very powerful way to control your skill tests.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there's a lot in Forgotten Age. Protective Incantation. You can only have group limit of 2 in play. Seal any except the auto fail. At the end of your turn, you must either spend a resource or discard Protective Incantation, part of the sealing archetype, which we saw with Chthonian Stone. Counterspell. Play when a cultist, tablet, or squid is revealed during a skill test. Cancel that chaos token. Again, ignore the skull. It's not there. Recall the Future. This is a very powerful card that I hate playing with, but it is very strong. Where you basically just get +2 for a token if it's revealed. You just have to call it before the test.
It is like very good in the sealing archetype too, because you can just sit there and be like, there's 3 skulls in the bag out of like 10 tokens, and they're all +2s.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Something like that.
Defiance, the upgraded version, and just ignore effects. You don't need to choose this time. Sacrifice. I think this is a very nice Mystic card. You get to discard a Mystic asset you control, then draw 3 cards or gain 3 resources or any combination thereof. If only there were a bunch of Mystic allies that you would like to sacrifice.
Yeah,
or
things
empty spells.
Or empty spells. Yeah,
there's a lot. Or your Song of the Dead after you've missed a few times and you just want to punish it.
This card.
Crystalline Elder Sign. You have to seal the +1 or the bless. Sorry, the +1 or the Elder Sign. And you just get +1 to each of your stats. So you take the +1, it means you have the +1 to each of your stats.
Yeah, this card's like actually very good. If any of the people in your group complain about it, like you can present it to them as though like you get the +1 for every single test you make now, as long as this is in play, and they're not going to draw the +1 for every single test that they make, and they shouldn't ever be. Ideally, they're never making tests where getting the +1 matters.
Yes. Yeah.
So
it basically just does nothing. Like it doesn't change.
It doesn't change anything for them.
Yeah.
Except that it's better for them because it means you're more likely to pass your tests.
Yeah, and you're Jim, and you need it.
You do. Yeah.
Shards of the Void. I think that this actually could be a really fun.
Maybe
Jim
don't play
spell.
that in Jim because they're already mad at you.
Yeah. You brought Jim to the party. What the frick?
I'm just gonna make the bag worse for you guys.
Take the Elder Sign. Don't worry, it's just a skull token.
I'm doing you a favor.
So Shards of the Void, seal 0. So it seals the 0 token, uses 3 charges. As an action, spend a charge or release a chaos token sealed here. Fight, uses Brain instead of Fist, so you get +2 for each 0 token sealed on Shards of the Void. For each 0 token revealed during this attack, seal that token on Shards of the Void, then attack deals 1 additional damage.
There's a lot of text for a glorified shriveling.
It could be fun, though, in Jim. It also could be fun in any Mystic. I say this all the time.
Yeah.
Like a sealed Gym, you use this and just seal everything good.
It's so tough to like justify putting in your deck with the existence of like both Azure Flame and Shriveling now.
Just cards that just...
I would rather have those because I'm also definitely playing like Arcane Research or Down the Rabbit Hole and they upgrade easier.
Yeah, just the cards that like do it without jumping through hoops.
Yeah, you have to sit there and read your card every time you use it.
Seal the 7th sign. You get to seal the autofill. 7 charges. If it has no charges or at least play, remove it from the game. If anyone reveals a skull, cultist, squid, or tablet, you remove a charge from the seal of the 7th sign. Basically, just lock away the autofail. Really fun card, and there's a lot that you can build around it now that actually you can like just have some fun with it.
Yep.
Like you could feasibly do. I did this in Norman, but you could feasibly do it in Jim. An astronomical atlas looping and. No, you can't loop it in Jim. I was playing a lot of Norman. I was like, everyone can loop their skills off that. Nope, just Norman. Scratch that from the record. To the Vets leads to an off-color card.
This is a lot of fun, though.
It is. It's very fun. This is a good card for Jim for an off-color. You don't get the Brain during your turn, but you get it during the Mythos phase, and it also puts you to 3 foot, and it's going to be giving you cards when you pass skill treachery tests.
So it's like one of.
Yeah. Dr. Ellie. Hey, do you know what's a relic? The trumpet.
Yeah. Turns out.
Yeah, that's why it's here. It helps you find your trumpet.
Because it was his dad's. His dad's really old.
His dad's really old.
Like really old.
We got Perseverance. Don't die. Also is Guts and Take Heart. Turn a failed test, which you're probably going to do as Jim Culver into cards and resources.
You think maybe like the relic classification is just like a hard date? And the trumpet's not that old. They're just like everything that existed before like 1910 or something like that.
Yeah,
is a relic.
Yeah, they just have.
And there's still relics now, but back then, like Something that was made in like 1911, not relic. 1910, though, relic.
I think so. I think that's probably just a great way of doing it on the back end, not have to think too hard about it.
Must reload. Jim's like, nah, it's like 10 years old.
Yeah. Oh, that's a relic.
Yeah. Did you talk about perseverance?
I said helps you. It stops you from dying, and it's also guts.
I was busy thinking about the
joke, yeah.
The trumpet bit, yeah. Okay, Circle Undone. We got 6 cents. This is a way for you to investigate without charges, which is good and valuable.
It's very good in Gym.
Yeah, especially the upgrade version.
Yeah.
That like benefit this one and like Wither is here. I don't remember if it made other videos, but like it's here now.
It probably did.
Yeah, probably like Jacqueline or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, both of these spells like let you investigate and fight respectively without using charges, and they give you some sort of benefit if you draw one of the symbol tokens, including the skull, which is one you actively want to draw. 6 cents lets you get a clue from a different location, and Wither makes the guy worse. Makes him easier to fight for the remainder of the turn.
If you are thinking of playing Song of the Dead, I legitimately implore you to play Wither 4 instead. Like, play Wither, then go to Wither 4. It'll do better. It'll do better.
I've played Wither 4 recently, and honestly, it was not that bad.
No, it's I think because
it wasn't great, wasn't blowing the doors off, but it was very competent for what I needed to do.
Wither 4 is perfect for Jim Culver as well, because Wither 4 isn't for your monster killer. It is for your flex to just like kill small things consistently.
Yeah.
And a big problem with Mystics is that when they run out of charges or stuff on their spells, they suck ass.
Yeah, it's tough when you're like the flex and people are like, I need you to do this. And you're like, well, I can't. I'm never shriveling.
And Wither is really good for that. It also helps with Jim because Jim is more likely to fail. I mean, he's more likely, but also less likely to fail his test because he has the skulls, but he also has 4 brain. And having things that don't have charges is really nice in Jim.
Yeah, you can also like, especially since, the no charges thing is very important because you can play like 2 copies of 6 cents, 2 copies of Wither as your sort of flex clue and fight spells. And then instead of having to play like 3 to 4 copies of the other ones because they're going to run out of charges, you just need one of these and then they're there for good. And you can use those other card slots to play other cards that might show up with other weaknesses or help other teammates.
Yeah.
So I have Deny Existence. This is like
it's just
much less to talk about than Wither in 6 cents, but it's just good. Eldritch Inspiration, 0 cost fast event. When you would resolve an effect on a Mystic card that triggers when one of the symbols is revealed, you can either cancel it or resolve an additional time. Honestly, one of the more fun cards to play in Gym, I think.
Yeah, this is the one where with my Song of the Dead where I dealt 6 damage, and I did it like twice, I think.
If you're playing Wither 4, this card is basically worth a whole action.
Wow, look at that. It's fun. It's fun to dream, but it is janky as hell.
Yeah. It is a very fun card to play with. I've played with it a couple of times. So. Prophesize is like a glorified unexpected courage. Sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's better.
Yeah.
Most time it's just fine. Sign Magic is fast. You have an additional arcane slot, which can only be used to hold a spell or ritual asset. It's a lot of cards that you want for your hand assets, and but sometimes you just want to play spells, especially if you're playing the Sealing archetype.
Dude, I think I'm now... I think I just got my next deck.
Your next Gym deck, you mean, right?
No, the next deck. This is the next Gym deck, but I think I might play for the next campaign.
Oh, God.
I think I haven't played the Sign Magic upgrade yet, but it seems really fun with Down the Rabbit Hole and 6 Cents and Wither. That could be like a fun time. Okay. One thing as well, Prophesy is also practice, which we're going to get into why that's cool.
Oh,
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot I could play that.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I had multiple thoughts going through my head at once there.
That's fine. We got Enchanted Blade. This is a Mystic Guardian weapon that lets you fight with your fist, which Jim is like a surprisingly competent number at.
Yep.
You also have lots of options. We discussed like Overpower and Unexpected Courage, Promise Power, Prophesy, Torrent of Power if you're really desperate to boost that punch up to a higher value. This is a great way. If you don't mind sacrificing Arcane slot and the hand slot, especially when you get to the level 3 version, which we'll talk about in a bit, as an alternative to that sort of chargeless fighting that you can get from Wither. 4 cups, you get +1 brain. You're like a real boy.
Let's go. Normal Mystic on turn 0.
Yeah. Banish is a spell that evades an enemy for 2 resources and 1 experience. You can only play a non-elite enemy, and if you use your brain, say your foot, like most Mystic things. If you succeed, you move the enemy and just evade to any location in play. And this one benefits you from drawing one of the symbol tokens where you get to like freeze it. It doesn't ready during the next upkeep phase. Which is, it's actually like you just get to just sound like a mindless dancer to the other end of the universe. And you're there till we're done.
It is sick. It's
probably
worth playing more than we do.
Yeah,
it is,
especially for one experience.
Yeah,
here's level 4 Sixth Sense and Withers. The Sixth Sense, the benefit is you get they both give you +2 brain, and then the Sixth Sense is you can choose a revealed location up to 2 locations away instead of an adjacent one to investigate instead of yours, and you also get a clue.
Yeah, you're investigating both locations.
Yeah, at that location, and your location, but also you get to pick which shroud you use for both of them.
It's very powerful for no charges.
Yeah, so you can dump your investigation into your 5 shroud location, whatever, and you draw the skull, and you're like, nice, this is 0. I was actually investigating that location that has 2 shroud, 2 locations away. I'll take a clue from there and from mine.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Wither gives the guy -1 health, so it's like it does 2 damage.
Yes, yeah.
For this turn.
Yeah.
Only this turn.
Only this turn.
Yeah. There's upgrade in Jam Blade, gives you more punch. That's most of it. It comes with another charge, I think. Hey, Bryn.
Hi, Bryn.
Just in time to talk about.
Oh, Bryn's wearing purple.
You're on theme. Good job, Bryn.
Oh yeah. No, I knew that.
So level 5 non-existence is just good. We have Diana Esperance as an option for your ally slot. This one uses 3 secrets. As a lightning bolt, you can attach a non-weakness spell event from your hand to her. Only one can be attached to her at a time, but you can switch them apparently. And the attached event can be played as if it were in your hand. It is not placed in your discard pile after it was played. It remains attached to Diana. And as an additional cost to play the attached event, you exhaust her and spend a secret. I always think she does damage to her, and I don't know why. I get to the end of the card, and I'm like, where's the damage?
When you got me, I was like, nah, man. I was like, no, she does. I'm like, Travis, you're misreading. No.
You get to the end, I'm like, where's the damage? And it's just not there. But that's a really weird stat line for Miss Scally to have.
Yes. Yeah.
So, we got Steadfast, which is a solid off-color option if you're actually intending to use your punch. It can give you brain sometimes, it can give you fist sometimes. You have solid ways to prevent yourself from taking damage on more in purple. So we have our Hawkeye Folding Camera, which is an option if you intend to use your book. Coincidentally, also boost your brain. Imagine that.
And then boost your brain first too, which is nice.
Yeah, that is nice. So you can use it like helps you use stuff like read the signs to clear off locations, get to that book.
Yeah.
We have a Cult Lexicon, which is kind of like a Mystic card.
It is, yeah.
Except it's too good. When it comes to play, you get to add 3 bonded copies of Blood Right to your deck. 1 goes to your hand, and the other 2 into your deck. When you play Blood Right, you draw 2 cards, and you can discard up to 2 cards, and then for each card that you thusly discarded, you can either gain a resource, or you can spend a resource to deal damage to an enemy at your location, and does not provoke attacks of opportunity. This card just does a lot of things.
Yes, yeah. Is there more for Circle Undone? No, on to Dream Eaters. All right. Man, Jim has a lot of cards.
Okay. I was trying to figure out who this was, but that makes sense.
Yeah. We got Open Gate. Allows you to put gates all over the place, and you can move between them. Very fun to play with your friends, and then start taking them out of your deck while everyone else leaves them in your deck. Scroll of Prophecies. Mystics, they want card draw, and while the Dunwich Investigators can kind of just you can shore up that card draw weakness in your 5 cards. This is a way to do it on class, especially if you're playing Backpack, or if you're coming from Scarlet Keys and you're like, where are the Scarlet Keys card? Astral Mirror is another option that you could do with this as well. Read the Signs and Spectral Razors, 2 staples. They let you investigate or fight with your brain and then your other thing. You're at 7 without any other boost with both of these, which is a very comfortable number.
Very reasonable. That's like a real Mystic again.
Yeah. Ethereal Form. This is the one that I'm Here Too guys. It does the same thing as Read the Signs and Spectral Razor.
Ethereal.
But it turns you into a ghost. Yeah, you become ethereal when you evade the enemy. So, does it actually evade the enemy? It does.
Yeah, it doesn't say instead of evading it. So.
I love it because there's all these... you know what? This isn't the video to talk about that. I'm going to go on to Stargazing here. Stargazing it's a strange card. A lot of people love it. And I'm one of them. I like the card, but I don't play it because... But if you look at it, it's actually a way to just it's a future word of protection. It gives someone an action, a card, and a resource, right? You basically just shuffle one of your stars or right in the top 10 cards of the encounter deck, and then when someone draws it, you're canceling a Mythos card, that person then chooses an investigator to draw a card, gain a resource, and may take an immediate action as if it was their turn.
Yeah, like it's obviously a good card, replacing a draw from the encounter deck, but it's also like not good because you have no control over it, right?
Yeah, and also like your actions are probably worth more than doing this. That's like kind of, I know it gives the action back. Not for Jim. That's very mean, Travis. This is his video, and I know I've said much worse things about him, but I'm allowed to. I've played 5 Jim Culver
This is
decks.
one of the ones where you make it up to your team, you put this in your deck, and then even if you draw, you get to pick. You're like, hey, but you know what? Please be less mad if you're playing Jim. You can have an extra action, a card, or resource.
Yep. It just lets them. I'm sorry for also sealing the Elder Sign on my Crystalline Elder Sign. Word of command, you get to name a spell. So it just tutors a spell that you want.
Yeah.
Like instead of adding like an extra like another version of a spell to your deck, you can just like add this as the spell you want to find.
Yeah, this could be nice to play with like the Wither and the Sixth Sense we were talking about, where you have 1 copy of each of those, and then instead of spending 8 experience to get the other 2, you can spend 4 on Word of Commands.
Yep.
They're a little more expensive, but like resource wise, but you cost you 4 less experience, and then you have more flexibility and be able to pull other cards out of your deck too.
Yeah. Twyla Catherine Price, she lets you, after you spend a charge from a spell asset, you can exhaust it to place a charge on that asset. This basically works as the dream taboo for Song of the Dead that everyone wants, where you only spend the charge if you get the skull. So your
For
Song
low
of the Dead
cost
can
of
never...
3 experience in your ally slot.
Yep. But I mean, like, apart from this joke...
Level 5 Song of the Dead.
Whoa!
Still does the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, no, you don't spend the charge unless you reveal
But you only get to fire it once a turn. Otherwise, you do
that'd be
eventually.
Otherwise, you do have to spec. That's bad.
Notably, though, she's good with just the regular spells. Like, that's why you really play her, jokes aside.
How mad would it be if we got cards that were like bonded to another card, but it was like Parallel Wendy, where the other card was actually just like additional rules text they couldn't fit onto the card?
I hope not.
That would be miserable.
I hope not. Actually, I'm optimistic. I think that with the new design team for the new player cards, the next one's going to be pretty straightforward.
Hopefully.
That's my hope. That's
nice.
what I'm feeling.
Oh, it's in Power Cell!
Yeah, I was so mad when I saw these because I was
Yeah.
counting, because I always count 9 cards out because there's 9 on a slide.
Yeah.
And then I go and I check through, like, okay, so which ones are bonded, and I remove cards, and then I see Empower Self, and I'm like, son of a... So Empower Self, they're the cards that you never get the one that you want. But it is really nice with Jim. So they take up 3 copies of Empower Self take up 1 spell slot. You also then, anytime a card requires to use Brain instead of a stat, Book, Fist, or Foot, you can ignore that. You can just use that stat. And then you can exhaust Empower Self, depending on the version, Acuity, Stamina, or Alacrity. You get to get +2 Book, +2 Fist, or +2 Foot. Jim has a stat line that's made for these, but good luck drawing anything but the foot one. That's all I'm going to say.
Justin, can you, in the future, can you play a Jim deck that's around Empower Self, and you use Lucid Dreaming to tutor up all of them, and then you play them alongside the new Doom stuff from Scarlet Keys, so you have a consistent way to use your other skills?
Okay.
And then you can also play Blood Right?
Okay, I like this, but it needs a name. Every good Jim deck needs a name. So what do we call this? Jim Selfer? Jim Empower Selfer? Okay.
That's not awful.
I'm interested. But the rules has to be Jim Xer. Those are the rules for the names as well.
Jim Dreamer for the Lucid
Jim
Dreamer?
Dreamer. Oh yeah.
The cards are from the Dream Eaters.
Jim Dream. Okay.
Dream that it'll work, but you know.
Yeah, you just want to play it alongside a Luke deck, so you can be like, you suck. You're like me, but bad.
Jim's like, I
Every
know.
masterpiece has its cheap invitation.
Summoned Hound. This is a card that you have to shuffle an Unbound Beast into your deck. Where if you draw the Unbound Beast, your dog attacks you. Like, it's like, hey, I'm mad at you, and you have to fight it and kill it. However, what it does do when it's a good boy and not a bad boy, it takes up an ally slot and a spell, soaks for 3, and you can exhaust it to fight or investigate with a base of 5 Book or 5 Fist.
It's wild to me that you don't get the Summoned Hound back when you kill the Unbound Beast.
Yep.
Well, because it's dead.
I mean, like, it's...
Like, you just killed it.
It should be like the wooden puppet. Like, you're like, no, I'm the master dog, I'm the man dog, and then they, like, switch back.
I think
It feels
but
like it was intended to, because they say to put the Summoned Hound, you put it aside out of play. It doesn't say, like, discard the Summoned Hound or anything.
No, it is.
It's like they forgot to say you get it back.
Like, the thing about, like, everyone with Summoned Hound, they're like, don't play it unless you can you can cheat it into play. And
Yeah,
it's like
maybe they had like a different version of bonded at some point where it was like part of the inherent rules for it, where when the card that created them like leaves play, then you like put it back or something like that for Wish Eater too, and they just forgot to update Unbound Beast.
Yeah, and I think a big thing is that what also really limited the design space on it is that the text is like, they're like, all the rules on this guy is just like, here's what happens when you draw him, right? So there's no like, oh, maybe you could do a brain test to like, you know, be like, calm down, buddy, calm down.
I mean,
right?
if they had Hunter and Talia on the same line as Prey, they probably could have squeezed it in there.
Yeah. Or as Bryn always says, nope, that has to be there. That text ain't even there.
Yeah.
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 It doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Same with bonded someone had.
No, the difference between this guy and the wooden puppet is that when you beat the puppet, he's like, oh yeah, okay, maybe you are better than me, but he's like, it's too late, I've seen your weakness, I'll kill you.
It's true.
Sorry, can we go back to the Occult Lexicon real quick? I want to see the template for bonded on that. Yeah, bonded is on its own line. Huh. Yeah, okay.
The Black Cat. It'll never betray you. Also really fun in Gym because it neutralizes 3 tokens.
Eat the entire chaos bag. Yeah.
Yeah, you can use your star as like an actual buff and not
Yes,
just like,
not just a
this
skull.
is 0.
Yeah. Really nice in Gym. A lot of Gym decks end up playing Black Cat, and I think it's a great choice.
Mm-hmm.
On to some off-color cards. We've got Tetsuo Mori. He helps you find items and dies for you.
Yep.
It's really good. Also helps other people find items.
He's a really cool guy.
Yeah.
So he just gets shot and he's like, use your trumpet.
It's just, Jim.
I forgot to tell you.
Self-sacrifice, which I'm pretty sure Travis put in here just to fucking meme on me.
No.
Look, you have to make Jim do something, and like
No.
taking damage for other people is something.
Purple has a hard time drawing cards.
It's true. Yeah.
And so this is a good card to play to do that instead of all the yellow ones.
Yeah. And I mean, it's also just like, if you're gonna like, I mean, you're probably gonna, I don't know, you could really play self-sacrifice anywhere, but like, it is true, like drawing cards is good.
I think the idea behind this one is like you're playing cards that neutralize the chaos bag, like Black Cat, and like your just inherent ability, and this gives you like you can do the tests instead of them, and you just have a better chance of not failing.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh no, they just do it, right? You don't get
they
to
do the
it.
test, and if it fails, the effects happen to you.
Oh, wow.
Which does make sense because like you can
Never mind,
just.
scratch that.
But I mean, like, it also, like, your Jim Culver. Like, say, for example, it's like,
What are they
take
gonna do?
horror.
I was probably just playing the meme on you. Yeah.
We have Practice Makes Perfect. This is staple, and it just lets you play practice skills twice. And Jim can play Deduction
And Vicious Blow.
and Vicious Blow. Vicious Blow's practiced?
Yes.
It is, yeah. For some reason, I was like, oh, no, it's innate.
Are
I'm
you
like, that's
okay?
why I don't play it in Silas Marshall all the time. Yeah. Oh, Innsmouth!
Wow.
Oh man, it's a beaten stick.
Yeah, so like for a detailed breakdown of the Blessed and Curse cards, there's going to be a link to them in the description. Purple gets the Paradoxical Outcome archetype. Special notes, Jim has like a slightly easier time of playing Eye of Chaos and Apocalypse and Shroud of Shadows than some other purple investigators because he gets access to 5 off-color cards, which can just be 2 copies of Deep Knowledge, 2 copies of Faustian Bargain, and another thing to put curses into the bag, which is really nice for him. Speaking of that, Deep Knowledge and Faustian Bargain are right here, so I'll talk about them. Mystic has kind of crappy economy, and these are the best of the best. Mm-hmm. So you should probably
resources.
Yeah, if you don't have a specific reason to be playing other cards in your off-color cards, you should probably just play these as 4 of them. To be honest, it'll make your deck like better. Promise Power is the other one that we've mentioned a few times, but it's not here. It is just commit for 4 wild symbols, and you have to add a curse token to the bag. If you can't, you take 2 horror.
Yeah, notably practiced if you're playing a Practice Makes Perfect.
Yeah. Huge to support your Vicious Blows and stuff.
Yeah, depending on your deck, you probably, like, going on this, you could do 2 Deep Knowledge, 2 Practice Makes Perfect, and a Faustian Bargain, and that'd be pretty comfortable. I take the cards over the resources because...
Well, I mean, you'd want to... If you're playing Practice Makes Perfect 2 of your slots, you want 2 of your other slots to probably be, like, Deduction or... I mean, there's some good... Or Vicious Blow. Like, you could... play other things, like there are enough practice things outside of that. You can play the perceptions, the overpowers.
You have Enraptured, you have the
Enraptureds are an option. Prophesy and Promise of Power.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they're not, it's just like good. It's not great, you know. Anyway, Sword Cane, we talked about being able to do things without charges as being good, and this does that for Fight and Evade. Yeah. Ikiak, this is like another way to take others' burdens onto you. This is another one that I put in here probably to.
But I mean,
laugh at
like,
Justin,
even
but-
if you never take the basic weaknesses, it's just +1 brain and +1 book, right? Like, I'll rare, like, you know, if someone can't handle their fucking basic weakness, they can, like...
This is like the ally that you want for the ceiling deck, because you're already going to be devoting all your hand slots and arcane slots to not doing anything but making the game easier for everyone else. So you might as well just tank your stats and make the game even easier for them, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, who can't handle their basic weakness?
I mean, you should be able to handle your basic weakness, but at the same time, it's like if you're not doing anything, you might as well do even less, right?
True.
If you can't go lower than
But
zero.
I mean, like, she's like, it's like brain and book are what you're using. So she's just a good ally,
Like,
even without her.
Yeah,
without
she is
her
just a
text,
solid
yeah.
ally that gives you brain and book, especially since the plus brain allies in purple are extremely limited.
Yes, that's
and
what we've been through.
yeah. And like having the reaction to just eat a basic weakness can be nice.
Yeah, it depends on what basic weaknesses you get, because like that doesn't hit your personal weaknesses, which are the ones that you'd want it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time. But you know, if somebody's gotten overzealous, sometimes not having your +1 and +1 might be better than that.
If you guys aren't babies and you actually play with like Doomed, or
That's actually
it's a good way to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's a good way to deal with like Dendromorphosis if your fire happens to get it or something like that. So
Yeah, I don't not play with Doomed. It just doesn't get rolled because random number generators don't seem to like to go higher than 12. So you get the basic ones.
12 basic weaknesses.
12 different ones.
Okay.
Like not at the same time.
I mean, it is true. I do get like freaking.
You
I get
4 and 2 and whatnot all the time.
I get
right?
like freaking what is it?
Yeah.
This Reckless, I've gotten it like 4 campaigns in a row, just randomly rolling.
I have randomly rolled Indebted a lot, and I just re-roll it now because it doesn't do anything. And I think
It's
that's
so easy.
fun. It actually does nothing. Anyway, Mariner's Compass is here too. This is just another piece of that Dark Horse deck that we mentioned earlier. They happened to print it like 4 years later.
Yeah, which is good. You know, at least that.
Yeah, it was nice to round it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to see that they're willing to come back to archetypes.
Yeah,
that
especially in
existed,
Survivor.
especially considering that we are now getting less than 1 release a year.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Whee!
Yeah.
Down the rabbit hole. This is the card that I've been alluding to a bunch. It basically is just like everything that you upgrade, you can do it for cheaper. If you add new cards, it's more expensive.
Yeah, you build your deck, and then you just make all the cards that better, and you don't ever buy new ones.
And it's so easy to do in the Mystic class. It's like you don't even need to like freaking think about it anymore. Everything upgrades. Yeah.
Turns out.
Dragon Pole. If you gives you an additional arcane slot, takes up both your hand slots, you can fight. If at least 2 of your arcane slots are filled, it deals +1 damage. You get +1 fist for each of your arcane slots that are filled. I mean, with Jim, you can, if you have 2 of your slots filled, this deals, it's a 5 attack +1 damage.
They're
You have
really
to work
fun
for it.
videos so far. You should have heard how long we talked about Wither being a good card for Jim Culver.
It's not. That's
How
great.
long
I'm
we spent
glad,
justifying it. They're like, no, you should
Yeah.
you should play Wither in your Jim Culver deck.
I am excited to see upgraded Song of the Dead made the cut here.
Yeah. But yeah, Dragon Pole, it's
Yeah.
you have to build around it, but it is a good weapon for Jim.
Yeah.
Occult Theory, you can gain book icons equal to your brain or brain icons equal to your book.
Yep.
Just pass a test of one of those. Parallel Fates, look at the top 6 cards of the Investigator's deck. The encounter deck, you may either return them to the top of that deck in any order or shuffle the deck. If you look at Investigator's deck, the Investigator may draw 1 card. Once again, help your friends. Help your friends out. Astronomical Atlas, Jim Skilver, baby. Once again, the deck needs to have a good name, and that one's pretty damn good.
It's really weird to me that Astronomical, they printed those like Occult Theory cards in the same cycle as Astronomical Atlas, and they just don't work together.
They just don't work. They don't work. It is strange.
Yeah.
Astronomical Atlas, though, is very powerful. You can look at the top card of your deck, and if it's not a weakness, you attach it to Astronomical Atlas. 5 cards attached. You can commit 1 card per test from Astronomical Atlas to a test, and if it's successful, it goes into your hand. Very nice in Jim Culver. I think, like non-ironically, it was the best Jim deck I've ever played. Because, like, your stats are good enough that you can just skill your way
It's
through it.
ironically, like, not saying it was a good deck, it's just like it was the best of the ones you've played.
I think it was like... So Jim is like a D-ranked investigator. I think it was like an A- deck. I think it actually was that
Really?
good. And I think it's only because the power of Astronomical Atlas, right? Just double up all your cards, right?
Yeah, I've been playing that card a lot. It's pretty sick.
I mean, you're telling me that one only works with the green one of these? That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, they call it Theory Cycle, yeah. Yeah, because they don't have symbols to command. Same thing with Prax makes perfect.
Anyway, I learned
I was
something
pretty
new today.
salty about that when they came out.
Yeah, I mean, like, it would be less of a thing if, like, Astronomical Atlas came out in, like, Scarlet Keys. But because they're in the same cycle.
Yeah, like in the same cycle. It's like they intend them to, and then people are like, hey, does this actually work in the rules? And they were like,
They're
damn, you're
they're
right.
like, oh, fuck, we did it again! Oh, no!
I can't believe there's not a ruling saying that these get to behave the way you want them to.
Yeah.
Grounded. 0 cost, 3 experience. It's the it's the Composure, the upgraded version. You just, like, get +1 to all your skill tests. It soaks for 2 and 2. Same thing. You can spend a resource to get +1 skill value on a spell card.
Yeah. This one's a reference to the fact that none of the purple characters are pilots.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. True Magic. This is a wild spell that can be fun to play with. Oh, it's not a spell. It's actually an item relic tome, but it also is actually kind of every spell, isn't it?
Including Song of the Dead.
Including Song of the Dead.
Yeah, it's upgraded Song of the Dead because it never runs out of charges.
Yeah.
Sort of.
But you only get it once. Still, you use it once per round.
Yeah, unless you got Catherine
Twyla.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. I heard it.
You said something different.
I get it, but I just was passing it on to them.
Yeah. But
yeah.
then you can use it like twice a turn probably.
Yeah.
Unless she says spell asset, in which case, like, whatever.
She might say spell asset.
So it allows you to just resolve abilities on spell assets as if they were in your hand, and you treat True Magic as if it was the revealed asset. So you basically just hold your cards in your hand, and you can use True Magic. Notably, it works well with stuff like the Disease Charges, like Sixth Sense and Wither, because you can just use them endlessly from your hand as it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it doesn't matter if she says spell assets, because you get to treat it as though it's that asset, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Nicosia Mabadi, Jim's best friend.
Maybe.
Or is he?
It might depend on like when it stops being the spell.
No, probably doesn't.
Like probably not, but it might. I would play it like it doesn't.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because this card's like a lot of work.
Yeah.
So.
And As If is always kind of messy in this game.
Yeah.
Only kind of.
Nicosia, you get it basically after enters play. You name a non-Elder Sign Chaos token with a symbol, like say for example, I don't know, squid. And then until this card, or sorry, you name Skull. You name Skull with this one. Oh God, no! You name Skull. Until this card leaves play, the name symbol is your sigil. And when someone reveals cultist, tablet, or squid, you can exhaust it and search the chaos bag for your sigil and reveal it. You say Skull. You turn those other things into skulls.
They literally didn't even include Skull. They're like, you play this card in gym.
Yeah.
You will play it in gym.
Yeah. And it's still
not great.
Not great. But once again, that's kind of Jim's thing.
Yeah, it's kind of actually better in like a blessed deck than it is.
Yes, it is 100%.
So,
yeah, 100%.
Or paradoxical deck.
Cool. Yeah. If you're going to play paradoxical, Nicosia is a very good ally for that.
Yeah.
Cyclopean Hammer, it's a good weapon, even in gym.
Even in gym.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's a good weapon in anyone if you have, like, if your thing adds up to 7 and then you also just boost the other things, it's very good.
Like, honestly, this card's probably, other people who can play it, the only one it's, like, not great in is Carson.
Yeah.
No, it's still God tier.
You don't even think this card's that good.
In Carson, he does.
You're right.
He's like, in Carson, I do. Excuse me? Brandigathuga, Divination, Blurs, these are on the spells video. We talk about them there.
These are also very good for you to use in your Empower Self build.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, they're just sick ass spells, man.
They are really good.
Yeah. Divination's very good. I play all of these in gym, but I'll play all of them in anyone who can run them. It's not
I
even
like
hard.
Blur.
Yeah, not gym. I mean,
Blur's good, but like you gotta be wanting to do.
I'm not spending my time evading. Blur, I play in Keimani. That's about it right now. Because it's just like, turn your free ability and to get more abilities. It's really good. Earthly Serenity is healing. That's kind of like what it does. It just heals very well. Protecting the Anurnic. After an ally asset location is discarded by a card effect or defeated, either return that asset to its owner hand or draw 3 cards. If it was an ally you want to keep in play, use that one to bring it back. Mm-hmm. If you don't care about the ally, hey, why don't you just draw 3 cards?
Yeah.
Last little bit of Edge of the Earth. We have Prophetic and Antiquary. These are the tri-class talents, where they come in with 2 resources. They replenish these resources at the start of each round. Resources of them can be spent to pay for 3 traits, and also you can boost those traits with those resources. Prophetic is Fortune, Spell, or Spirit, and Antiquary is Favor, Relic, or Ritual. So if you're going to be playing a lot of spells, like you probably will be, use Prophetic. If you're going to be playing like a lot of relics, Hey,
And Rituals.
And Rituals, yeah, you might want
The
to look
Antiquary
at.
is probably really good as an economy card for the stupid ceiling build.
Definitely, yeah.
Can you use this to pay for protect? You can't use this to pay for protective incantation.
No, I don't think so, because it's to pay for the cards, and that's, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so
Like
either.
pay to play them.
Yeah. Forced Learning and Underworld Support, 2 permanent cards that you could play in Gym.
In case you want to make your gym deck worse.
Yep, you definitely could. And then we got Hit Me. This is it's a lucky that everyone tells me this card is like lucky, but it always fucking bombs for me. But I believe him. You know, you'll probably get +1,
It's
plus
just
2.
fun.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like lucky if you don't want to like it be reliable.
Yeah, this one's really good for jerking your emotions around too. Playing Gym, where you're like, oh yeah, I drew a skull, and then you're like remembering, you're like, oh no. Hey, return twos. We got some cards from the Circle Undone first. So probably because that came out around the time I made this video or put together the.
Actually, I know why they were. It's because they were in the Edge of the Earth one. And I realized, and I was like, okay, no, I got to put these here, so I took them first.
Okay. Well, we got the Hierophant. This gives you an additional arcane slot, and then you can use your arcane slots for accessories and vice versa, which is like neat and fun. Is it worth the experience or good? I don't know.
If you're playing
It's fun,
Dragon
though.
Pull, this card is probably pretty solid because it's a lot easier to buy extra accessory slots than it is to just have extra arcane slots.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could also play it with you could just walk around and you're popping off your 2 Elder Sign amulet or sigil things, and then also your Holy Rosary and your St. Hubert's key and your Key of Ease, and you're like, yeah. And bling
The
gem.
many necklace gem.
Yeah.
Just all of them. It's like Benny from The Mummy.
Yeah, but then you got to spend one of your off-color cards on getting
Token of Faith.
Yeah, the Benny cards.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, it actually Token of Faith was called out in the for the Paradox build, and it's very true for Jim. Token of Faith is a good off-color card for that.
Yeah.
Well, you called that out. It didn't end up making it in the video.
Oh.
It was in
Yeah. Sign Magic level 3. This one is still fast, and you still get an additional arcane slot, but the change is that as a reaction, after you activate the ability on action ability on a spell or ritual asset, you can exhaust it to activate an action ability on a different spell or ritual asset you control without paying its action cost. Again, this one is very good with Wither and Sixth Sense, the ones that don't take charges. It's also very nice to just have them kind of sit there while you use spells that do have charges. It's just a little bonus.
Yep.
So. We have our level 2 Ray of Seeking and our level 2 Mist of Rayla. There's not much to say. They're just in-betweens.
Yep.
For the upgrade path. Bear Storm of Spirits gives you more brain and deals more damage to enemies and allies.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you draw the skull token and you're like, oh no.
I'm just going to fish for a skull here.
Yeah. Draw your star. I guess I'll treat this as a skull.
Yeah. We got our Upgrade Chthonian Stone, which is honestly huge for that archetype. Still seals the things, but this one uses 3 charges, and if it has no charges, you return it to your hand.
It only costs 2.
Yeah, and after you reveal an auto fail during a skill test, you remove a charge from it. This is
it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So you can use those charges for other things, and this is actually kind of nice. It's a reusable charge barrier if you want to play. Stupid. Torn to Power. Yeah.
Yeah, or if you want to spend an off-color slot on
Chessman.
Chess.
Yeah,
that guy.
Yeah. Also, if you want to grief yourself for playing Jim Culver and
that might be.
I'll seal a skull on here.
That might be neat.
So what are you doing? And you're like, I'm trash and I should know it.
Just give yourself and make yourself do even less.
Yeah.
For Chess Guy is Eldritch Sophist for people who might not know.
Eldritch Sophist, yeah. So you play him, and then you're playing the Seal Archetype, and you just use your Chthonian Stone to put charges on your Seal of 7th sign every turn, and then you just pick up and replay it.
Yeah. It honestly does seem after I tried it, the little bit of Lupin and Norman, it seems like a very fun build to try. And then Backpack too.
Yeah, it's really
so
good.
Damn good.
Lots of cards. 12 is too many.
12 is too many. Okay, everyone's favorite slide of all of the expanded guides is here.
This is the best one.
Yeah. Azure Flame, Clairvoyance, Ineffable Truth. We talk about in the spell videos. They do damage, clues, and evade. All the other spells we've talked about before, and we will talk about again and again.
We actually don't talk about these anymore.
Not
in this series.
Not in this series. No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Well, don't we have to do expanded guides for the new investigators?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's your job. I make them. You tell me
There's
what they've
like
done.
there's like at least one more.
Yeah, no, yeah, but
Amina.
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, we're not. Those aren't that video. I mean, a guy's gonna be like, it's gonna be like 5 cards for each expansion.
Yeah.
You cut out anything that uses brain.
It's true. Amina will be a good one for that. Yeah, in the spell video down in the description, you can find more about that. Now going on to some the interesting cards here. We got Robe of Endless Night, the level 0, the level 2 version. They reduce the cost to play spell assets. The upgraded version also, they do not provoke attacks of opportunity when you play them, which is really nice if you draw an enemy and you don't have a Shriveling in play. They soak for 2 and 2. Really nice cards. Crystal Pendulum gives you +1 brain, and after a skill test, your location begins. Exhaust it, name a number. If it succeeds by that number or fails by that number, you draw a card.
This is Justin's favorite.
Eric actually nailed this like every fucking time. It blew my mind. Eric would say a number in my head. I would like do the math, and I'd be like, "That's a bad number." And then Eric would get it and I'd be like, "What the fuck?" I'm like,
It's gotta happen sometimes.
it's and it's. I mean, like, I don't think it really comes down to like a lot of preference too for Crystal Pendulum versus Holy Rosary, because they're like the same thing, right? One just soaks, one can draw you cards.
I just play Holy Rosary because I always take 2 arcane research and it puts me back up to my normal.
Exactly, right? Like that's like the thing. And if you're not playing that, and if you're playing like maybe you probably should play them and like down the rabbit hole and all that stuff. But it really comes down to preference. Voice of Ra gives you economy. You gain a resource, reveal 3 random. If you reveal one of the symbols, you get 2 resources for each symbol you reveal. Yeah, it's very nice. Eldritch Inspiration, the upgraded version. It's play when it would resolve an effect if, when, or after either cancel that effect or resolve initial time. This is different because the other one was just when a symbol token was revealed.
Yep.
Grotesque Statue, the level 2 version. It's a nice stepping stone to get to the other one. 3 cost, 3 charges. Reveal 2 instead of 1 again. Hypnotic Gaze. Dang, there's an upgraded version of this.
Yeah, this one's like actually not bad.
So it's the dodge, cancel that attack, then reveal a random token. It basically costs less, right? Equal to its damage or horror. Okay, so the other one was just damage, right?
Yeah, the other one's like it's tough to get full value out, but this one's like pretty good.
Nice, yeah.
You just show up to like Yogg-Sothoth and he's like,
upgraded Guts. 3 symbols. If you succeed by 2 or more, you get to draw 2 cards. Arcane Studies. Awesome freaking cards. And it also like works really well with down the rabbit hole goal from 0 to 4. It comes with 2 resources. Replenish them at the start of each round. You can spend resources to get +1 brain or book. The resources can come from Arcane Studies or your resource pool. So it's basically like a perception
really
or guts.
strong card for and also other mystics.
Recharge. Choose a spell or relic asset controlled by an investigator location. You get to reveal a random chaos token. If you reveal a symbol token, you add a charge. Otherwise, add 4.
Dude, this with Eldritch Inspiration, just juice an asset.
8 charges. Those are all the noises Brain makes. That was the one I made for the other one too. The Hypnotic Gaze. It's just the sound of magic happening.
And your teammate's like, "That's great," and they look at you. They look down and see your Song of the Dead with 13 charges on it, and they're like,
"Why? Our off-color cards to close out the gym video. We have Safeguard, Save on Moving. Why spend your time moving when you can play cards to juice up your Song of the Dead? Right? Yeah. Stand Together. This will make your friends feel a little bit better.
Yeah, it's an economy option.
Yeah, gives you and them resources. And then Test of Will, stop a card. Test Brain 3. You're probably going to be juicing your brain if you're playing this, so you'll be doing higher.
Yeah, it's like a Ward of Protection level 2 that doesn't cost any experience.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And then we got the deck.
Yeah. So this is a gym deck that's mostly just good purple cards and then like a handful of other things. So, Azure Flame, Rite of Seeking, those could honestly just be whatever. Clue getting or fighting cards or whatever you wanted. Holy Rosary is there to boost your brain along with the Guts and the Promise Power and that's actually it for the brain boost. Yeah, okay. We got Backpack to help dig out our myriad items, including our 2 enchanted blades and our trumpet. It also helps us find our emergency caches for some money. Tetsuo Mori is there again to dig out items. You can bring back your backpack to dig even more, or get back a spent enchanted blade or a trumpet that you had to commit for 3 brain symbols, or whatever. Arcane Research is going to be important to get those spells up to, like, to help scale you with the game. You get that brain boost, and you can actually pass tests later. And then we have a big pile of Mystic events, as well as 2 Tested Wills hidden down there. Just an extra little... Just a
little treat down there in the bottom left corner.
Yeah, extra pair of ward protections that we snuck in there.
Yeah.
Deny Existence and Ward Protection are just good. Uncage the Soul lets you play your card. Spectral Razor lets you fight. And then we have some overpowers to help boost that fist up and make the Enchanted Blade just a little more consistent.
Yeah.
So it's like mostly a combat-oriented Jim, trying to show off that you can use his brain or his fists and like use them together sometimes to suitable effect.
And I'll also see that this deck is kind of designed to grab your Trumpet and your Enchanted Blades with your Backpack, Ellie, and Tetsuo.
Yeah.
Just like it finds those, and then you just like
kind of play the
stop
game.
people from dying. Yeah, and just do mystic things.
Yeah, you can do a lot of different things with this Jim deck, which is kind of the point of all of them. But
yeah, and also kind of the point of Jim too. You just do everything, but just
things
badly. I love you, Jim. I do. I do. You are one of my favorites, and I'll keep playing you. But that's it, Jim. It's done. It's been a pleasure. You were voted the lowest of every investigator for the patrons for the Order of the Expanded Guide, so that's why you sit right before Lola Hayes, who we're doing in 2 weeks from now, and it should be a good time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one, and as always, GG's.